Hello everyone, and thank you all for joining us for this session. My name is Jessica Fuentes with ProServeIT, and I'm going to be your in-session co-organizer. I would like to take a quick moment to introduce the speaker for today's session, Jessica Molsan, Model Commercial Executive at Microsoft. Welcome, Jessica.
Thank you, Jessica. Thank you for having me today. Now, I am a commercial executive for the Tech for Social Impact team here at Microsoft. Now, that title means very little to anybody outside of Microsoft, but really it's my job to help our customers understand the best way to license the solutions that they need. So understanding licensing, contracts, terms, and conditions are all very exciting. But helping my customers achieve their missions by simplifying that licensing is really what it's all about for me. Here we have a quick little agenda, and we're only going to be able to scratch the surface of licensing, to be honest. We will really only get through the nonprofit offers and some purchasing platforms that are available for you. In the general sense of licensing, all product terms and conditions translate to the nonprofit licensing world. For example, when you license Windows Server based on the 16 core minimum in the commercial space, those same rules apply for nonprofits. You guys just get a significantly better price. Now, I'll also highlight the best buying programs and go over some additional eligibility requirements for our nonprofit EA. And you will receive this deck afterwards, which does contain all the resources that you'll need access to if you need any further information. So let's get into the fun stuff. Here's our matrix of cloud solution offers. And some of these are free donations and others have a heavy discount anywhere from 52% to 78%, depending on which product we're talking about. You will notice I don't have any pricing on this page, and there's a good reason for that. First, TSI is a global team with many accounts spanning multiple currencies. I've done this presentation in the US, Canada, and Australia so far. Second, pricing can change month over month. And finally, some purchasing programs do contain additional services or support costs in addition to the licensing costs. It's best to get pricing from your partner of choice or your Microsoft account team instead of through a slide presentation like this. So let's start at the top with our full bundle of Office and Communication suites, Security and Compliance suites, and of course, Windows operating system. Those three come together to form the Microsoft 365 suite. M365 comes in a few different flavors based on your needs. First up is Business Edition. M365 Business is only available on the WebDirect portal and has a tenant limit of 300 users. We do provide the first 10 users to you as a free donation. Microsoft E3 and E5 are part of our Enterprise suite and provide additional features above the business license. M365 E5 is the bundle of all bundles. You'll get every security, compliance, Power BI, and teleconferencing features you could ever want. Now, if you don't want everything, M365 E3 is a bit more toned down, and we can add piecemeal any security or Power BI features that you would need onto that program. For those super light users that need mobile management and Windows only, we do have M365 F1. Moving down the line, we come to our Office 365 products. So Office 365 E5 contains everything that would be included in E3, and we add in that Cloud PBX, Security, and Power BI Pro, all of which can be purchased a la carte onto the Office 365 E3 license, just like I discussed with the M365 E3 license. Now, Microsoft has so many configurations, clearly. We highly recommend working through an in-depth profiling session with either your Microsoft account team or your partner of choice to get exactly what you need without overspending and being over-licensed. Our next free offer is Office 365 E1, donated to the first 2,000 users. Now, there is a small caveat here. Those users must be full-time staff or employees of your organization. So that lends the question, what about our volunteers? So for those light users, we do recommend either the Office 365 or M365F suite. Those are designed specifically for frontline workers such as our volunteers. We do have a special volunteer offer that launched last year as well. So for every one license of Microsoft 365 E3 or E5 you purchase, you're granted 10 Office 365 F3. I'll say that again because it's a lot. One license of M365 E3 or E5 that is purchased, you're granted 10 Office 365 F3 licenses. Now there's no limit on this purchasing, and it's available on the EA as well as the CSP programs. More about those buying programs in a little bit. So the donations continue on down with our Dynamics and Azure Cloud offers. In Dynamics, you receive your first 5 Dynamics 365E for Sales licenses, that's the cloud version, for free. And you will also receive your first 10 Power Apps per App licenses for free. Now, Azure does still have our $3,500 consumption credit that is per year, and that's directly through the Azure portal. We do also have additional discounting for any customer looking to spend over $50,000 per year within Azure consumption. And if you're willing to commit to that $50K over a 3-year term, we can offer 5 to 15% discount. Just check in with your Microsoft account team for more information on how to get that. Now, to lower your Azure costs even further, Microsoft generally just allows the option for BYOL, or bring your own license, meaning if you've paid for Windows Server or SQL Server and are carrying active software assurance, you can get a discount on that consumption for those services right through the Azure portal. Well, those are some pretty great offers, and our TSI team is constantly coming up with new solutions that will benefit all of our nonprofits. So be sure to check in regularly to our nonprofit site. That'll be at the end. And you do want to note that these are just some of the offers. We do offer discounts on all of our Microsoft products and cloud services. Just check in with your account team or your partner. All right, so that's the what. Once you know what solution you need in your organization, what's going to work best to fit your needs, next comes the question, well, how do I get it? There are 5 purchasing options for nonprofits that are available today. I'm sure some of these will sound familiar to you. If not, don't worry, we'll talk through them a little bit here, and I can always set you up with further information down the line. We're going to start with our medium and smaller organizations, those that have fewer than about 250 staff. We have 3 main options: TechSoup, WebDirect, and OpenCharity. Now, many of our customers are actually utilizing all 3 of these licensing programs, and that's totally fine. It all depends on what you need. TechSoup is Microsoft's partner for donated on-premise products. So there are some size limits. I believe, for example, Windows operating system is limited to 50 free device keys. Their site will contain the full list of donated products. WebDirect is a buying program for online services only, and that's where we're talking the Office 365 portal or the Dynamics 365 portal. So say you need a few Office 365 E3 licenses and some Project Online, that's where you would go to find these products. You go right into the portal, enter your credit card once you've found how many licenses you need, and you're done. Most of the licenses that you purchase will be in your portal for activation within an hour or so. There are no minimums, and pricing can be either annual or monthly. Again, just depends on that product that you're purchasing. Next up is OpenCharity. So this is the first buying program that utilizes our wonderful partner community. OpenCharity is going to be your buying program for your additional on-premise licenses above and beyond what TechSoup offers for free. There is a minimum of 5 seats to start the agreement, and each agreement runs for 2 years if you're purchasing your licenses with software assurance. Payment for those products is due upfront, and software assurance is optional. You don't need to purchase it if you don't want it. Now, this buying program is getting retired at the end of the calendar year, but don't worry, we do have new options that'll be coming out in the next few months that we can discuss then. Okay, moving forward, we're going to look at some of the buying programs for larger organizations that hit around the 250 staff count or so. We do have the Enterprise Agreement, or EA, as well as our Cloud Solution Provider Agreement, or CSP. So let's focus on CSP for a moment. The CSP model is very much like purchasing through WebDirect. It's only cloud products right now. There are no minimum user counts, and purchases can be made monthly or annually. The largest difference is CSP does include services or support that's attached to each product ordered. Each CSP partner provides a different set of services and support, which means all pricing can vary between the different CSP providers. Highly recommend, if you're looking to purchase on that option, to go directly to the partner for pricing. Back to the EA. So the Enterprise Agreement allows for all products, cloud and on-prem. Although the on-premise licenses do require a purchase of software assurance. Now this is a 3-year program. It locks in your pricing for any users, devices, or products for those full 3 years, and payments are either annual or upfront. That is your choice depending on your budgeting. Any products that are added mid-term in the agreement can be paid for at the next anniversary instead of upfront through a true-up process. Now, the EA has gained some traction in the nonprofit sector because of that ability to lock in your pricing. It establishes a cost for all products, making budgeting very simplified. Having one date, one contract, one place to go get it all makes managing the Microsoft licensing easier for your IT staff as well. Now, I said that there was going to be some additional eligibility for Enterprise Agreement, so let's take a look at our eligibility and registration process. So the reason the eligibility is a little different than your standard eligibility through TechSoup is because we're locking you in for 3 years on this pricing, whereas TechSoup's eligibility is reviewed every 2 years. So there are the same eligibility requirements, such as holding legal charitable status based upon your country, as well as having a mission that benefits the broader community, while also upholding Microsoft's anti-discrimination policies. The registration process is there on the right-hand side. It's as simple as going to microsoft.com/nonprofits and selecting Get Started Up at the top menu. Well, the form takes as little as about 5 minutes or so, but the verification process to get you approved could take up to 20 days. We really typically see anywhere from one day to about a week. So keep an eye on your inbox and junk folder for any communications that you might receive. And you can also check the status on that second link there on the right. Once you're eligible, you can contact your purchasing partner or your Microsoft account team and get going on the Enterprise Agreement. Okay, as promised, there are some key resources here. We have our nonprofit site, just for basic general resources. Any sort of new programs that are coming out or new discounts will be found there. We have our FAQ, very helpful for more in-depth questions that you might have, and then also that eligibility site. Now, it has been a pleasure getting to chat with you guys a little bit about licensing for nonprofits. I'm sure if there are any questions, we have a few moments, we can answer those now.
Thank you, Jessica. Yes, the first question is there a difference between non-profit licensing and government licensing?
There is, yes. So nonprofits do get the best licensing short of some education customers. We're pretty on par with education. Government licensing typically is a little bit more expensive, and there's some regulations around what products are offered in government. So there is a little bit of a difference. We do have some customers in our TSI patch, and there are certainly nonprofits worldwide that qualify for multiple different types of licensing: nonprofit, government, education, and commercial. I think I have a customer that's all 4. So yes, it can differentiate. I highly recommend talking to your Microsoft account rep or partner to distinguish what's the best route to go for you.
Thank you. Here is another question. Is there any option for community groups that aren't registered as a non-profit or charity groups?
I'm wondering what you're meaning by community groups, I guess. If you're not an approved nonprofit or charity, then you would fall then into the commercial space. I would certainly go to that eligibility site and understand maybe why you aren't receiving that eligibility approval. There is a help email address, I believe is what it is, maybe a phone number that you can contact to understand the reply, whether it's approved or denied for charity status. But otherwise, yes, it would just be standard commercial pricing.
Thank you.
Yeah. Let's see, I do see Kevin asked, what's the offer ID for the Dynamics 365E sales SKU? Basically what that is it has to be put onto an EA or CSP. And it's basically heavily discounted. We just discount it at 100% for those. So it's the same SKU as it would be on the normal commercial price list. Let's see, I saw an offer of licenses of Dynamics 365 Business Central for nonprofit from $70 US to $28 US. Does it also apply for Peru? NGOs require an ERP like Dynamics Business Central as well as sales and CRM. Pricing for each subsidiary would have to come from that sub. I would need to look into Peru specifically. There are some countries which we don't license in. I don't think Peru is one of those, but yes, I would highly recommend the customer go to either the CSP provider or direct to the portal for Dynamics and see what the pricing looks like for that currency. I hope that helped. I love TechSoup too. They're so helpful. I have used TechSoup before and they're great. However, I'm not familiar with the others. Is there a way to get that info as well as a slide deck? Yes, I will be providing the slide deck for everybody on the call and ProServe's customers. That's ProServeIT's customers. As far as additional information, you can certainly reach out to myself or anybody on the TSI team. It's very specific one-off on the information that we would maybe give you, just because it's very situational. Licensing is so situational and differs customer to customer. So I would love Jeff to have a deeper conversation about what you're looking for. Let's see, do religious charities, 501c3s qualify for nonprofit with Microsoft? Yes, some do. It really depends on what your mission is. So please go to the eligibility and enter your info. I can't determine eligibility. We always go through TechSoup as a third party. That way there is no playing favorites within Microsoft. Let's see, James, we have E1. It is awesome. And Azure Active Directory Plan 1. Is there an Azure license, and where should we go from here for licensing in terms of getting best tool security, Intune essentials for good business? Yes, so I have a very beautiful, crazy matrix of the modern workplace is what we call it, all of our Office 365 security and compliance deck. I can send that also to ProServeIT. And they can send it out to everybody as well. It goes really in depth on everything you could ever want within Microsoft, very specifically down to the feature. Depending on that feature, you know, it might look like Enterprise Mobility and Security Suite would be a good choice. That includes Intune, your mobile device management options, or it also includes Azure Active Directory. But depending on what you need, we can certainly fit something together for you that makes perfect sense financially. I will get you that. Jeff, We currently have some Windows devices within our environment running Windows 10 Home. Is there a way to upgrade those to business? Yes, we could certainly do that. I would recommend reaching out to a licensing partner that can utilize the Open Charity program for that. You can purchase it FPP, which is full retail essentially, but it's cheaper if you just go through Open Charity. And is there any advantage to moving current Office 365 E5 users to M365? That's going to depend on what you need. So Office 365 E5 is a component of M365 E5. There are two other pieces to it, and that's the Windows OS E5, and then also the EMS E5. So it really depends on what you need there. But yes, huge advantages if you need all the security, the Windows Defender piece, advanced threat protection. If you need everything, that's all included with M365 E5.
Thank you so much, Jessica. I cannot see any other question coming. If you have any other question, folks, please feel free to email us at cloud@ProServeIT.com. All these questions we can give you answer. We can contact Jessica as well to give you answer as soon as possible. Again, thank you so much, Jessica, to be here. It was a pleasure. It was a great content. I think all the audience was really curious about licensing for no-profit. Thank you so much, folks, and enjoy the rest of the conference.
Yes, thank you all.